All right, ladies and gentlemen, here I am live in the basement of Absolute MMA Collingwood with 6-1 professional Lisa Kyriacou. How'd I go with that one?
You did very well. I'm very impressed.
Look, it's the reason why it's important to know your last name is because obviously you're going to have a very, very impressive MMA career. Can you tell me the worst your last name has ever been stuffed up?
Look, there's been a few of them, but the worst one was probably being called Kyriacou. Oh. It sounds like a bit of a Japanese dish, so probably the worst one.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I'll get the Kyriacou. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, look, I'm going for clickbait immediately, straight off the bat. Did you see my Amena Hadaya interview?
Yes, I most definitely did.
Now, there were a few comments from Amena. Now, you guys had a cracking fight at Hex Fight Series 25, which I'm actually here for to cover Hex Fight Series 26, May 26, at the Melbourne Pavilion. Now, what was said by Amena that basically has turned you the wrong way?
Look, she basically said in the interview that she put me in dark waters, I believe it was, and that she caused some damage to me and that she put me in spots that I just felt uncomfortable. I have never walked out of a fight so untouched in my life. I've had more damage from my little kitten. So I don't know what she's talking about, what she saw. I don't truly believe she thinks that. I think she's trying to convince herself because she was throwing flurry punches at me that did not even land.
So it wasn't, you didn't think it was a tough fight at all?
Not at all. I've been cracked in fights a lot hard from other opponents. She literally blissed forwards and missed half the shots.
What were your thoughts with the judges' scorecards? I believe there was a 50-45 in there, but there was also a 48-47. How many rounds did you think you took?
I think I took them all. Look, her leg, I saw her backstage laying in a fetal position with an ice pack on her thigh, not being able to move. I definitely did a lot of damage. I got the takedowns. I landed actual shots on her. Now,
there seemed like there was a bit of animosity, not necessarily leading up to the fight, but even after the fight immediately finished. And then obviously now, what is it between you guys?
Oh, look, I'm a nice girl, but she's got a bit of an attitude problem, so I'm going to have an attitude right back. That's about it.
Now, do you normally have a problem with your opponent's attitudes, or is this the first time?
No, not at all. So, look, I've had 16 fights all up. A few of them I've fought the same girl. They've all been absolutely lovely and nice to deal with. I've had friendships outside of those fights. Never had an issue with any of them, but she just seems to have a bit of a problem. But I think that's her own insecurities talking.
Now, they did talk about the rematch being offered. Amena said you don't want it. Now, I'm not a massive fan of rematches on the Australian regional scene just because I would like to see guys get out there and obviously like move up the rankings or take on other guys like Amena even said she's on to bigger and better things. Yep. Has that rematch been offered to you at all?
Yeah, so of course we got offered it. Like, she lost to me. Of course she wants to try and get that chance to win. Not going to happen though, because if rematch with Amena is a step back for me and a big one, why the hell would I fight someone again that I clearly dominated in my last fight? I'm at the point where I'm going to level up, have bigger, better things come my way. I'd have nothing else to prove to someone I've already smashed in a fight.
And speaking of bigger and better things, what is next for you? You've signed with Rival Sports Management. Do you move, like, what happens normally when we see that people move on to the bigger shows? Like, what is next for you?
Look, a few things in the talk with my managers and my coach, but that's a bit up in the air at the moment. I'm just getting the training in, staying active, staying ready, and hopefully we hear some big news soon. But I've got big goals and dreams in this sport, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there.
You talk about just getting back to training and obviously working hard. 5 years, I think the other day, was the first time you walked into Absolute MMA, the only gym you've ever been in, the only sport you've ever done in combat. Can you sum up the 5 years in mixed martial arts?
Yeah, so just to be clear, I've never done any sport outside of this. I was actually quite unfit and fat back in my day, but here I am. So yeah, obviously I walked into the gym 5 years ago, just became hooked on the training, and after 2 years of just intense training, I had an amateur fight. And after that, I remember Tico and the girl in the second round. I turned to my friend, I'm like, this is my calling. People would previously tell me, oh, you should start fighting. I'm like, no, never, because I was always a bit of a tomboy, and I would punch on with my brother. But yeah, here I am today. Absolute's amazing, and they've raised me to be such a good fighter, and the whole team's doing amazing here, as you guys can see.
Were you like an angry person growing up, or?
No, not at all. Look, I come from a nice, big, ethnic family, very loving and caring. I've been a very happy girl growing up and still very happy. I think I'm just so naturally strong and have so much determination. I've found this passion in me where I can use that strength and be determined and actually aim for big, big goals.
And where, like, in terms of the family supporting it, I will generalise. A lot of ethnic families don't want their daughters getting in a cage and fighting. What's that reception been like?
Look, of course it's very stressful for my parents. Like, look, Dad's driving around the block. Even he loves that I do it, but he drives around the block because he doesn't like to. He freaks out a bit watching it. Where Mum will sit there like going mad, like cheering me on with wearing my T-shirt. But they're super happy of what I'm doing with myself and that I'm doing so well in this sport. And yeah, they're really proud of me and they're really supportive and encouraging of what I'm doing.
Now, we've talked about off camera about like sort of almost like exit plans, 5-year goals and whatnot. What is, if you could absolutely plan out your future, how does it go?
In fighting only?
Yeah, in fighting, how many more years do you want to go? Like, what level do you want to get to? When do you think you want to walk away?
Yeah, look, I want to get to the highest of the highest levels, as high as I can possibly get in this sport. As we said, I only started this late 24, so about 5 years ago. I'm now 29. My body feels like I'm still 18 again. I've got no damage at all to me, so I've got many years to come. Look, late 30s. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, my goal is to get to the highest level in this, and I will.
Here's a weird question, but I don't really talk to female fighters all that much. But in terms of like children, I know. I don't know why. Like, look, it's a very like generic like classic question, Mitchell. But like, does it play into a factor at all? About obviously, it's such a stress on your body in terms of weight cutting and things like that. Does that come into it at all? I know it's a very 1970s question, but are children on the cards?
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good question. So I do think very in my future. I like to be very smart like that. I've actually previously gotten tests of my quality of like my body to make sure that everything's okay. And if I had to go and freeze my eggs at this age, I would go and do that to be safe for the future. So I've actually already looked into that. Kids, maybe, we'll see. I do have a partner. We'll just see what what happens in the future, but I'm always going to give myself the option.
Also, I was just thinking, side note, I mean, people can hate me in the comments for this, but if you become a champion, you could sell those eggs for a lot of money.
Do people do that?
Like, in some countries, I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there.
Nah, look, I like it, but no, I definitely would not be doing that. If I'm not going to be having them, then no one else is going to be having them for me.
Now, in terms of Australian female fighters out there, obviously the Amena fight is off the table, but if there was someone out there, is there anyone that sort of tickles your fancy in terms of an Australian female fighter that you'd want to get in the cage with?
Honestly, like, I've fought so many of the Australian girls already. I don't think there's anyone left. I'm ready to go worldwide now because I generally don't think there's any females left at my level or in my weight division in Australia. So I wish there was, because I'm going to do what I have to do to get to the next step. But I don't think there is, so I'm ready to go worldwide now.
And in terms of worldwide, is there anyone out there, UFC, PFL, anything like that you go, I'd really like to fight that person?
There are a few names, which I will keep to myself.
Oh, so they're achievable names.
They're not just yet, but let's just say I definitely think I would do well against them. In my weight division, yes, there's definitely a few out there. Okay,
and transitioning back to Absolute MMA, and of course spending 5 years here, was there any like pivotal moment where you were like this is what I'm born to do, or this was a very tricky moment in my training journey and I overcame it?
Well, as I said before, the moment I knew I was meant to do this was after my first amateur fight, where I had felt nothing like that. I'm like, this is my calling. Tricky moments, like every day can be tricky, Usually I have amazing days training, but not every day I can be bothered training 3 times a day, but just pushing through, and I love this sport so much, so I just always make it work.
And are you mixing it up? Because I feel like a lot of people, we've talked about Amena a lot in this one, but like she's at Freestyle MMA, trains with all the guys. You're at Absolute MMA, you train with all the guys. Yep. People are often wondering, like, do you get rounds in with girls, or who are you mixing it up with at training?
So my main competitive rounds are with the smaller boys, so like from the flyweight guys, like bantamweight, it can be a bit heavier. We do have a amateur fighter as well, Ash, which I do some work with her as well. So that's good to have another female body. But yeah, so the main competitive fight, getting me ready for my fights, are definitely with the smaller dudes, which is great because I feel like if I can do well with them, then when I actually fight a girl, like the strength's different. There's nothing compared to the guys.
Are there any amateur or even early professional Australian women that are coming up that you think they could be something special?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a few of them. Look, Ash is doing very well. She's a strawweight amateur fighter. So yeah, hopefully she gets another fight soon. There's a few around other gyms that are doing well, so I'm sure, yeah, they'll get there.
And in terms of like your training partners, like Jack Jenkins, and obviously Luciano's doing really well, and you've got all Khan Offley's doing really great. Is there anyone that you're like especially interested, especially happy that they're kind of reaching the higher levels? Like obviously Jack Jenkins in the UFC now, yeah. Luciano and Khan Offley, it's only a matter of time. Yeah. Is there anyone that it kind of, I don't know, means that little bit more to you that you're seeing them reach that level?
Honestly, all of them. Just to see anyone in my team get to that higher level is just makes me really happy, and it motivates me. So when like Jack got signed, like I just found that so touching and motivating as well. Like I see him put in the work, and to see like what goes on backstage at training and then see them actually achieve, that's like, yeah, it's really special. And
speaking of special, can you put into words how much your head coach Simon Carsons means to you and obviously your 5-year journey so far? Oh,
so much. Simon's been there from day one. Like he's been my only coach, my only head coach, and he's put in so much work for like me and everyone here. And you can just see what's happening at Absolute MMA. Like we're just growing so much, and that's thanks to Simon and like the work he puts in for us. Like behind the scenes, he just does so much, like words can't even express it.
So you don't know if he's any good because he's your only coach. There could be like better ones out there.
No, look, no, I did not say it. He's an amazing coach, and like he does so well with the guys when he trains himself. So he's trying to get me in trouble there. Ignore him, Simon.
Also, do you remember just quickly when Simon randomly took a fight after like 9 years? Or what happened with that?
With
where he stepped up and fought. Yeah.
Well, that was quite amazing.
Where was it? Yeah, what happened?
That was the fly here. That was on One Champion, I believe.
Yeah, I really should have had more background information on it because I was actually going to ask Simon this when I talked to him, but I don't know where it happened. Were you around when he got the call up?
I heard a few days after it happened, but yeah, I think he took on like a week's notice or something. So that was a pretty big like a good opportunity to take, so good on him.
Jeez, I'm gonna ask him more about that. I like when people know that, like, they often call me a journalist, and I like to take times in interviews like just then to prove I'm not.
There you go. So I'm sure Simon can answer that a lot better than me. But yeah, it was pretty like unreal. He took that fight on like a week's notice against such a high level, huge man. That dude is massive.
Yeah, I will definitely find out more about that. Before I let you go, though, after it is all said and done, how does Lisa Kyriacou want to be remembered in mixed martial arts?
Just as a very good fighter that, I don't know, just a nice person, I guess, besides when I have to be a bit of a bitch. No, just a good fighter that's going to do very well and help others as well. I'm a coach as well, and I love coaching. I love teaching what I love. So that's a massive thing as me that I would love to be remembered for as well.
Awesome. That just proves that you can walk off the street and become a champion. Lisa Kyriacou.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.